Okay guys, today is a Chevy Trailblazer 2008 four-wheel drive, replacing the engine. I wanted to go over a couple of tips and tricks here to get this out of here. There's a few things that are extremely difficult on it. This is going to be a huge job. You basically unbolt everything that you can possibly think of. All the accessories, everything, radiator. You don't have to take this plastic framework out or the bumper or the headlights or anything like that, but it does come out the front. It's pretty tight. You're gonna have to take the intake manifold completely off in order to get it to clear, because it sits under this cowl quite a ways under here. So you'll have to, it'll kind of come out at an angle and then out. Like you can see, I've got it at a pretty sharp angle here with the engine hoist. If you can tell, but anyway, it's at probably a 30-degree down angle. One of the biggest problems is the stupid asses put this axle going right through the oil pan, so that's going to be one of your biggest problems. So the differential is bolted to the side of the oil pan here. You need to get that loosened. You don't need to remove it completely. And then on this side is the actuator, what they call the actuator that locks the axles together. You need to take that off. So on the passenger side, you need to remove the CV axle, or at least get it out of the way. So you can do that by undoing the ball joints and then leaning it back and getting the axle to pull out of that actuator. I had to reassemble it somewhat here so I could roll it, but I didn't take the whole front suspension apart. I only took the ball joints loose and then just pulled it back. Like, take the ABS wire loose so you don't tear that. Just pull it back, get the CV out, and then you can unbolt that actuator from there. And then the axle stub, let's see if I can find that son of a bitch. It's right here. And it is threaded on the end, so you can put a 1/4-inch bolt with I put a washer on there, and then you can just, with a pry bar or a crowbar, just pull it right out, and it'll slide right out of that oil pan. There's the actuator. There's the CV axle. So when I'm rolling it around without a CV axle in it, I put a bolt in there to grab the wheel bearing together so the wheel bearing doesn't fail afterwards. But then on the other side, I left the CV axle in and just left this whole differential in, unbolted it from the oil pan. And then if you also do the same thing with the ball joints, remove the upper ball joint only on that driver's side, and then you can pull the whole works out towards the driver's side enough that you can get it out of the oil pan so the engine will come out. So you don't need to remove that completely. And then the other problem is the upper 2 bolts on the transmission to the engine. Those are pretty hard to see. You can't even see them. In order to get to them, you need to drop down the back of the transmission. So to do that, I just removed the transmission mount. I did not remove the cross member. A lot of guys are removing the complete cross member. You don't need to do that. If you just fish the mount out of there, it'll lean down enough that you can get those 2 upper bolts. It's still going to be tight, but you can get them with long extensions. And then I've got a 2x6 laid in here across the frame webbing to hold the transmission in, because once you've got the mount loose, there's nothing else that's going to hold that transmission in there, once you take the engine out. So anyways, there's a lot to this job. It's definitely not fun. I took the power steering completely out, just easier that way for me. I don't care about the mess, and I had to add fluid. The same with the air conditioner. I took the hoses and pipes out along with the condenser, just to get it out of the way. Radiator comes out fairly easy once you get the shroud out of the way. The shroud is a bastard on these. But anyways, just keep at it. Remove everything that you can possibly find That motor mount I left alone. This one I took the insulator part out because there wasn't quite enough clearance to get by. Make sure you take the oil filter off because it's going to want to catch up here on this plastic part. This was already broke off, so I just trimmed it back. But this plastic will flex enough you can get the thing out of there. But yeah, it's a Titanic of a job. You can see here all the parts: the grill, axles, battery tray, AC compressor, alternator, all the airbox stuff. Yeah, computer, starter, power steering, you know, all the bolts. Just pretty much endless. That's the under shroud, or the under plate underneath of it, coils. Yep, fan, shroud, the whole works. Got to get it all out of the way, otherwise you can't get the damn thing out of there. So, yeah, keep at it. I mean, it's a big job, but it's basically all just bolts and wires and clips and everything, and it can be done. But it'll test your patience. Okay, I hope that can help somebody, because you don't need to drop the complete front suspension out like I've seen, or take the transmission out, or transmission cross member, all this stuff. Guys are going through a lot of extra steps. I mean, this is a big enough job as is. You don't need to add more to it. I didn't even have to take the hood off. I just propped it up a little higher than what the prop rod will take it, and then the engine was able to just squeak by there. You kind of got to twist the engine, so you lift it, pull it forward, and then turn it a little bit, turn it like towards the driver's side, I believe it was, and then it will fit up and out of there. Take your time. It'd be best to have a helper. Took the hood prop rod off, also get it out of the way. I just like to have a little more room to get my hands in around stuff and not have to worry about catching on everything. But yeah, it's a lot to it. Good luck.